Good morning, everybody. This is Miss V from Hypothetically Speaking Gardener. I want to show you something this morning. I'm going to bring my garden to you. Hopefully, you can learn, or I can show you or encourage you. Maybe you already know, maybe you did know. For those new gardeners, or even garden just didn't know and kind of follow suit or whatever somebody else did, or what was good for them might not be good for you, and what was good for you might not be good for them. So I'm going to show you some of my personal experience of gardening for the last 4 years versus the more experienced gardeners, and they probably got their own opinions. But so this year I started this garden bed. You see, this is a whole head of broccoli. You see the piece out there because I cutted the broccoli, and when I cutted the broccoli, more broccoli kept growing. I heard people say, "Oh, when you cut a broccoli, it'll stop producing." I heard people say it'll start producing new shoots. You can actually look on each one of these broccolis, and you see where I took a knife or scissors or the proper tool that I used to cut it, and other broccoli shoots start coming out. Look how big this broccoli is. So when I did cut this broccoli, it looked like broccolinis, like this little bitty shoots, which I will cut that off. But again, I want you to know that next year, I'm not going to pull these up out the root. Why? Because I'm not going to put them. To me, that's wasting products and that's wasting seeds. So I'm going to continue to water this garden bed. When I use the term continue to water this garden bed, in the winter, you don't water like you do the summer. But while it's pretty outside, or why the weather's beautiful, I'm going to continue to water this as I normally do. Me, every 2 to 3 days. If the soil is dry, I want to talk about my tomato plants. I heard people say they take their tomato plants and they pull them up out their pot. Well, I don't. And on the reason I don't, let me back up real quick. You see this big old stick right here? I have two. That is the salad tomatoes, and this is the beefsteak tomatoes. My tomatoes grew, and if you follow in my videos, you can see, I believe to November, October 2022, I was getting tomatoes. I've never dug in this soil and pulled them out. I didn't reseed it, and when I'm going to tell you what I did, when I had a bad tomato or animal destroyed it or bug destroyed it, I just squeezed the seeds out of the tomato that I had, and I pulled it, squeezed it, and put it in the bottom of both of these pots. I heard people say take off the suckers. Suckers mean the sides of the plant. Let me touch the sides. And they say, oh, take off the suckers. I've never, ever, ever, unless it was just hanging on the ground, took off the suckers, or just hanging, it was out of control off the plant, because I just let the plant do itself. I mean, I just let it be itself. So if it wanted to grow as tall as it wanted to reach that, you see the zip tie, and it was hanging, I let it just grow as tall as it want. And let me show you really quick, prime example. Something got a hold of my plant. All I do when I see things like this, no matter if it's a cucumber, broccoli, no matter what vegetable it is, I just take these off. Peas, anything, collard greens, I just take these off. And I leave the little stem like that, as if I would on the collard greens or the broccoli, so another one can grow. And here's another one. I'll just take that off. Everybody's different. If I had my tools on me, I'll be able to use my tools, but I don't. I'm using my hands right now, so I'm doing the best I can do and hold the camera. But take these off. And when you take them off, what you see, the yellow and the black, all they do is encourage the plant to constantly keep growing. If you don't, it's going to, I learned myself, it destroys the whole plant when you allow these damaged leaves from bugs or from aphids or whatever's eating your plant to stay on the plant. You are allowing your plant to die back, and encourage it not to produce. And some plants do produce even while this is on, but then your product don't look healthy that comes out of it. So I'm going to take all these off, which you can see. And you see really quick, I got flowers. So any plant that have flowers or fruit, you're going to get productivity. I don't have any salad tomatoes yet in this one, but I do have beefsteak tomatoes in the other. But all I did, I took my seeds and I just squeezed it, and I just dropped them at the base, moved the straw, and just dropped it at the base. So I'm totally encouraging people, even the broccoli, when your collard greens, when you see things look like this, and forgive my finger, go ahead and just tear it off. And you see I tore it, I apologize. You see I tore it off? but I want to show you most important. See, I left that piece on there. Do that with your collard greens too. I didn't know. I was tearing my collard greens up when I first became a gardener. I was so excited about being a gardener. I wasn't picking it properly, and I was wondering why it wasn't growing properly. But collard greens, broccoli, pull them off from the bottom, work your way at the top. When you see yellow, go ahead and get rid of that. Put that in the compost station. If you got any chickens or type of animals and you have livestock, you can feed that to them. Instead of going against some chicken food or livestock food or whatever you got, feed that to your animals. That's eatable. You can't eat it, but they're more than welcome to eat that. So I just want to encourage people, do not pull up your tomatoes every year. My sister told me she was pulling up her green beans. Do not pull up your green beans. My jalapenos, I cut them back. My banana peppers, I cut them back. Do not pull them up. I want to show you something really quick with the green beans that I'm sitting right here. Why I told my sister, and I'm sharing you, do not pull it back. So this was last year branch, and this is last year branch. I'm gonna get the phone as close as possible. This fresh leaf came out of last year's branch. All of these fresh leaves came out of last year's branch. This stem right here is last year's branch. All this fresh brown, which was green when it started, is last year branch. You can look at the branches to see this is all last year branch, the dark green, and all of this came out of not. I just cut it back, and all of this came out of last year branch. And my sister had no idea she was tearing her green beans up, which was causing herself to reseed. But this same branch that I'm touching has all of these are growing from that same. I don't want to break that same branch, and I'm trying to hold the phone. But all these new leaves have came from last year branch that I did not cut out. I just cut it back, and this is last year branch, and everything is coming out of it. All this new foliage coming out of last year branch. So no, do what I encourage you to pull up your green beans from last year? No, all I hypothetically encourage you is just cut them back and watch things grow from it. I see an ant over here in it, but do not cut back. Just allow it to cut it off. Just allow it so it can get bigger and grow. And I dropped some new green bean seeds in it, but that is last year plant. And I also want to show you same thing with the grapes. I didn't pull it out from last year. These grapes right here been on my property, these 2 containers, maybe since 2021. I just cut it back last year, and when I cut it back last year, new branches. You can see the fresh greenery versus the old brown, and you can see the fresh green stalk. And when I say the green stalk, I'm gonna hold this camera again. This right here, where I got my hand on. This is fresh green. Look at that. This is the old branch, the brown. Look how bright this green is. This is last year's, New Year harvest. But this is 2021 branch because I bought this in 2021. And I just cut it back. Same thing with this one. This was 2021. I bought these 2 in 2020. You see the original branch. See how dark brown it is. I just cut it back. And you see all the fresh light-skinned branches that's on board that I did not have to cut. Then I'm going to hold the phone and do my best. And this is a fresh stalk right here, where my hand is. Fresh stalk. And that dark is a old stalk, fresh stalk. And you can see old stalk, fresh stalk. This is an old leaf. And you see all this is fresh. So regardless of whatever it is, do not cut it, destroy it, pull it up. Just allow it to grow itself back. And just because you see somebody else, well, they pull theirs apart, just see. Take a leap of faith and see if you leave yours in your pot, would it grow? I had a lady ask me yesterday, and I think my sister asked me this question too, but a lady yesterday asked me at home at Lowe's, I noticed that stuff in my pot doesn't grow as well as the stuff in the ground. Well, when it's in a pot, you got to feed the pot. When things are in the ground, you got to remember it searches, it senses shoots off. Shoots mean it stems, it's its limbs in the dirt, looking for water in the soil. And of course, you have to feed that. But when it's in a pot, you have to feed it more, because whatever you put in the pot, this is all it got. If you don't put no type of manure or 5-in-1 or fish in motion or some type of your version of Miracle Grow, or banana peels, coffee grains, or whatever you want to naturally, organically feed your plants, it won't get the nutrition that it needs if you don't feed your plants. And I just want to share, and I totally encourage people, do not pull your stuff out of the pots. Just allow them to continue to grow. Just allow them. My sweet potatoes last year, still in the ground. I did not pull them up. The fresh greenery that you see, these greeneries are the ones that I bought this year. I probably bought, to be exact, 2 trays of 6 and seedlings. But I want to show you, last year, I never, ever pulled up the sweet potatoes from last year. And these, the dark brown, purple ones, those are last year, and they still in here. I even have containers, and they're still in here. And these are sweet potato shoots. So all the sweet potatoes from last year that died back from the winter, they're coming back. And all the what y'all call them, the strings, the veins, or the seedlings, where it has the seedling, the stems on it, they're still in this ground. It just have like the tree. When the trees in the wintertime, I'm pulling the weeds out. But in the wintertime, when our trees die back, I was like, oh, the trees are going to sleep, or the trees are dying. People that didn't know nothing about agriculture or gardening, we think that our trees are dying back in the wintertime. But technically, since I started growing and gardening, paying attention, technically our trees are going to sleep. Like our teddy bears and animals hibernate in the wintertime, the trees do. They die back in the winter, they lose their leaves, and then they come back. And so I just want you to know, don't pull your stuff out the pot. That pear tree, I bought that last year, April. It lost all its leaf. I mean, completely bald. It had 0 limbs on it. Everything's leaves died back. And I trimmed it twice because it was real monster big. And I'm trying to give it its shape. But it came back, and it came back bold than ever. Got a new limb on it. When I bought this baby at Tractor Supply, it had like one or 2 greenery leaves on it, and none down there. And look at this. This is a yellow apple tree. I don't know if you can see this. And it's doing this thing. Just have a little patience. When I bought this, it didn't have any leaves on it. And this is a red diamond Arkansas apple tree. And I'm going to shape this. When I use the term shape it, of course, when things are in the ground, they grow big in abundance. But I'm going to keep it cut because this is considered my orchard. And I'm going to step back. That is my plum tree, apple, passion grapes. I just put the grapes at muscadine. I'm going to put a guava there if I don't move it, and that's the banana. And I'm going to put another plum there, and that's the pear. But I'm going to keep everything kind of circular. So it'll provide shade in this area, but it'll allow the trees might touch, and it might not, but most definitely it'll probably touch. But it'll supply me a nice little orchard. I don't want it big and massive like that fig tree like my neighbors. But if I had the space, of course, I would allow them to grow that big. But no, I'm not going to allow the trees on my property to get that big in the backyard because it's too big for me, one tree. But I will allow it to produce enough fruit for me to feed my family and possibly sell, trade, or barter if need be. And I want to show you something really, 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 really quick. The same thing with the beans. Don't discard your beans. Anything in the pot, don't pull it out. Strawberries from last year. Got 4 over there. And I got this. I didn't pull these strawberries up. These are the same strawberries from last year. Collard green patch. This is a new one this year. Same collard greens from last year. Some I reseeded, but I didn't pull it out the soil. I left it there to keep coming up and coming up abundant. I had 3 items over here survive the winter. One was the Brussels sprouts. So let me walk over here and show you. One was the Brussels sprouts, the bell pepper. I survived the winter, but it came completely. Let me show you. When it died, it just had a stem on it, like a stem. And if you can see, I never ever, I just cut this thing back. And if you can see, it just started back growing. I never ever took this thing out. And stems just started growing out of the old stem. You see all the fresh leaves, all the fresh, look at this. This is an old. And this bell pepper will be a bell pepper. And I just allow it to do its thing. I got to come back and pick. That is spinach. That is kale. That is lettuce. Broccoli. I had cut some. Remember I said the old stem? And just pull it off. You don't want that to kill your plant. And just kill it. You just pull it off. These are Brussels sprouts. Do the same thing. Just grab it. I'm going to put it here because I'm going to put it in my compost. Just film it. I want you all to see. Pull it back. And do not pull it completely off. You want it to come back. Whether it's Brussels sprouts, collard greens, any type of brassicas, do not pull the whole stem off. Do it back. When you pick your items, and to my knowledge, I was told cauliflower seeds, cauliflower stems, broccoli leaves, cauliflower leaves. I heard this is eatable. You won't know until you try to boil it, but I actually did. I mixed some of it when I picked some collard greens and put it in a pot, and it just tasted just as good. It blended right in. And so I want to show you, when you see any bat, just pull them off. The pests came over here eating out of control. I just come and pick it. See, really quick, I have the pests. Remember I said grow a lot of things? Grow a lot of things because the pests is going to come out here and eat. Pests, chipmunks, the what y'all call that? The squirrels, whatever you got in your yard, they're going to come and eat. So if you don't grow a lot, what you thought you was going to eat, and you're not going to eat it. The pests and the birds and the bugs is going to beat you to it. But I want to show you this really, really quick. Make sure on your peas you pick off two, because if you let these bad leaves sit on your plant, all they do is keep it from not producing and make it not want to grow. It's send it a message to stop growing. But anytime you see weeds, and when you start gardening, you'll know what the weeds are. Just start pulling them back. Here's another bad leaf over here. But yeah, this survived the winter. This is last year's cauliflower. I apologize, still saying it wrong. Brussels sprouts. This last year. This one survived the winter. This one and the broccoli over here survived the winter. The broccoli survived the winter, and I was absolutely overlaid, but it survived the winter. So that broccoli and that cauliflower, everything else, I covered it up with a cover crop top that I bought on Amazon. But again, I'll use a thicker sheet blanket this year. I feel like those was thin. I didn't know, was I smothering? It was my first year ever for your gardening covering up anything. So I was kind of babying it and experimenting at the same time. I'm taking off the yellow leaf, and I didn't want to apply too much pressure, but I'm taking off the leaves. So I personally covered it up like with a cloth. But next year, for this year, 2023 winter, I will be putting either shower curtains on it with more protection, or I got some brown tarps on my porch, putting brown tarps on certain of these items so I can preserve and have something and see what dies back and what survives the winter. Same thing, your collard greens. Proper way of picking collard greens. Just pull that. Leave something for it can grow. Don't allow these to sit and kill your whole plant. And like I said, if you have any type of animals, if you don't have a compost, but put this in your compost. These are weeds. I got onions in here, but these are weeds. So I just need you to pick these off. And even when you pick in your collard greens, never pick from the top. I didn't know that. I was picking for the top, causing my collard greens not to grow and causing it to die back. And see how they over the bugs. And like I said, my solution of looking at other YouTubers is getting some dish liquid, mix it with water, and spraying on it. But gotta remember, when it rains, it washes all of that off. all that go away. And these are all weeds. So if you don't stay on the weeds, it'll be overwhelming. You don't know what's onions or what's weeds if you're not familiar with the stems first year gardening, if that is your first year. But come out here, and every time you see a little weeds, when you come out here, do a little maintenance in your garden, you pull your stuff off. I highly recommend hay or mulch on your items. And why I do the hay or the mulch, it's because it's adding a sheet of layer of moisture. When you do not do hay or mulch, to me, it dries the soil out quicker, cause you to come out and pre-water more than you would actually have to. So if you have a busy schedule like me, or on your own business, or just busy, work a lot, workaholic, busy house, kids, cleaning, got things to do, and you want your garden kind of defend itself a little bit until you can be attentive to it, I highly advise you all to mulch or to put straw down, okay? But again, learn your leaves, learn what is weeds, and learn what is when you put down an onion. These are onions. So I put, Walmart had these, it's like 100 onions in a bag for like $5 or 4. So I personally put 100 onions in my backyard. I put them all between my collard greens because I was told, and videos I watched, was pest resistant and it helped deter, but I see things are still eating it. So I'm going to insert some red amaranth in between some of these, and some red, or y'all might call it purple basil. And I put this peppermint spearmint here to deter some pests as well, because they don't like that. So I put that there. That's been there almost a week and a half. So, and then I put some rosemary in that pot over there to help with pests. And I put I broke a piece of my lavender in here. So once this grows, this will shoot off a big smell. One piece is lavender, one piece is rosemary to deter the pest of stop growing, stop coming over here. I apologize. But I just want you to see all the holes in the collard greens. This is from the white butterflies might be flying in your garden. You think it's cute, but they actually are mean. They drop eggs and they lay eggs on your food, and they babies and just start eating up a storm. Or you might have squirrels, like I do have a whole bunch of trees. So yes, I have real squirrels crawling in my backyard and front yard and neighbor's yard every day, all day. But just come out here, do a little maintenance. The video is to encourage you all, if you put a seed in the ground or the dirt, don't dig up your soil, please. Do not dig up your pots, please. Leave your food in there for next year harvest and see what come up. Don't dig up none of your herbs. Don't dig nothing up. Just allow everything to sit and let nature take its course. Please water it. Don't just put it in the ground and be like, oh, I'm not going to water it because it's not time to water. Continue to water it. Like if it's hot outside, warm outside, please water it as if you would normal. Don't stop. I've never stopped watering this, only in the wintertime. When it got cold outside, I stopped watering, but I was literally watering items, I believe, even in November because it was pretty outside. And that's why I kept having tomatoes and different items. And I'm just watching video behind video, people destroying and pulling out. Oh, this is the life cycle of my tomato. How you know? Allow it to do its thing till it stop producing, till it's too cold. Fruit don't like cold. Some people call tomatoes fruit. Some people call different vegetables fruit. But it doesn't like cold weather. So 99.9, most things die back when it's cold, unless it's a brassica. My collard greens enjoy the winter. My Brussels sprouts took its best hit. My broccoli, certain things, it just couldn't take 28 degrees below or 20 degrees below, and it deteriorated, but it came back. I want to show you a prime example too. This is a white horehound herb. I never, ever, when it died back, I did never take the stem and cut the stem off. You see the fresh red leaves, the red stems? This is a prime example of it growing back. Morning glory, same scenario. This ananto herb, same thing. It's coming back. I did not destroy it. Things over there, the herbs, I just let it die back and take its course. I'm going to show you my tea tree so you can see exactly why you don't destroy. And again, my lime. This is a tea tree that I bought at Lowe's last year. I was so excited. I'm having my own tea. Well, this is a prime example. This is the tree. Like, oh, this tree looked dead. Oh my God, this tree ain't come back. You probably would have threw it away because in your timing, it wasn't ready. But it's not about you. It's when it's ready to wake up. Look in that stem. These are coming out of the wood. Look at that. This is coming out. Look at that. I didn't plant that in there. It's coming out. So don't pull things out. All last year crop coming back. These are my, and I cut it back because I'm experimenting, I'm learning. I cut it back. This is my banana pepper. I put some seedlings, but I'm going to see. Same thing with my corn. I cut my corn back. I'm going to see the previous corn stalk come back. I put some fresh corn in my ground in the front yard because last year in that spot, that corn didn't come up. So, and I seeded it. Sometimes your seeds germinate no matter what the vegetable seed is, and sometimes your seed do not germinate. Sometimes your birds or insects go to eat your seeds if you put them in the soil, or you can overwater them and they disintegrate. But I put these seedlings in here, but this is a prime example. I didn't cut it back. I'm learning to see would it come back. But let me show you this lemon. I literally was going to cut this out because in my timing, I paid too much money. I felt like $26 or $30 for a lemon tree to die on me, and I did everything right. But guess what? You see this dead stem, but the root of whatever your vegetable and fruit is still in the ground or in the pot. Do not pull it out. Look at this lemon. If you smell these leaves, it smells just like lemon. So leave it alone. Let nature take its course. It might be 8 months, 9 months, 5 months, 6 months. It doesn't matter. Let nature take its course. Prime example. Let me show you what I did with my orange tree. Because of my patience. Oh, I felt like, oh, it should be back. Why my orange tree naked in my front yard? I don't want no naked orange tree in my front yard. Well, guess what I did? I dug up my orange tree out of my front yard. And thank you, Jesus. I put it in the pot. I could have threw this easily in the trash can and wasted a whole product. This is calamine orange. But guess what? That's the dead stem. But the root of this calamine orange is still in the ground. And I put this in the pot. And look at the orange tree coming right back. These oranges, it's just 2, which is I'm going to take one out and give one to my sister, one of my mom, and forgive me with this camera. From last year, I did not take these seeds out. These seeds, these been in it all winter long. And you see the brown and the fresh. And these are 2. These are orange tree. And it's going to be an orange tree from orange seeds that I personally put in here. But this is a personal testimony that if you do not remove your seeds out of your pots, they come back. Dig it up out the soil because it didn't move faster and grow fast enough. That's fine. Just stick it in the pot, set it aside somewhere, and just watch that pot and see what miracle come out that pot. And my miracle is I'm showing you that an orange tree came out that pot. I'm showing you in my yard my miracle with my lemon tree. I almost dug it up because I wanted to put something in the spot. Not that it wanted something. The lemon tree came back. The original leaves, not there. But the root is. So take a leap of faith. Same thing with the pomegranate. It died back. A lot of the leaves was bare naked like that. And I say bare. See that stem right here? I'm going to show you. But they came back. Bolder than ever. This died back from the winter. And this is a fresh pomegranate tree. Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? Let me show you. Never had pomegranates in my life. I started this last year in the seed. And it came. Survived the winter. On my front porch. This is a papaya. And I put this papaya that I started from seed, bought on eBay, and I put in this pot, and I'm going to have papaya. I'm going to show you a passion fruit plant that I told you in one of my videos was a papaya, but it was a passion fruit. But that is my live papaya. Let me show you what a pomegranate looked like. I got 3, now I see 4 live pomegranates. I've never had a pomegranate fruit in my life growing on my property. I always have to buy it at the store. This is a store-bought pomegranate that I put in here. I bought this tree from Home Depot. But my sister, my mom, and me one. And then I started mine from seed. This beated my plant that I had start 2020 from seed. And I put in this pot And this thing has shot off. Look at those 3 pomegranate. That's what pomegranate babies look like. Here's another pomegranate baby. So now I got 4 pomegranate babies on my property, and I see number 5 down here. I don't know if you can see that, number 5. So I apologize, camera. You see number 5, and we're gonna have 5 pomegranate babies on here that I've never had. Let me show you the same scenario with the pumpkins. I didn't dig this pot up. This pot hasn't revived. Might next year. If it don't come back next year, I'll see what's going on in this pot. But this is last year pumpkin. I put these pumpkins in, I think 2020 or 2021. I believe 2021 I put these. That was 2021 pot. This is 2020. These are pumpkins. Didn't do anything different. All I did this year, put some marigold in here. Marigold because I need to bring some pollinators. See these flowers? The bees has to get in the middle of these flowers to pollinate the plant in order to send off a signal for the plant to start growing, whether it's cucumbers, green beans, tomatoes, fruit, whatever, anything that you see, okra with a flower, anything with a flower. The bees, and I didn't even know ants pollinate, they have to get in the flower, and they have to get in the middle to pollinate squash, zucchini, any type of spaghetti squash. It has a mixed squash. Look at my pumpkin. First pumpkin 2023. Look at that. And I see more. It is so many. Here's another one. That's another pumpkin. Right there. The green hanging on the end of the yellow flower. All because the bees. People don't like bees, but your bees are your friend. Not only they give us honey, they pollinate your food. And if we don't have the bees, we can't get our food pollinated. Ants does. But people like ants, yes, I've learned ants pollinate. I had to do my research, but it does. I don't know what this plant is, y'all. But I think I'm going to pour this out. I was going to take this and turn this to maybe a bean. But I don't have any. I have the seeds for sunflowers, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy the plant because I think it'll be just as gorgeous. Put a big old sunflower plant back here for the ambiance. So I think I'm going to pull that out. And when I do another video, hopefully I buy it in time, you all can see that'd be a big old pretty sunflower to set off this whole decor over here. But let me show you something that I call myself telling you all was a passion fruit. But that let me stop. This is my compost station. I have something growing out of compost. It was a tomato in here. I actually took the tomato plant. It's on my front porch, my back porch. I'll show you. I'm giving it to my daughter. I repotted it. But a live tomato, beefsteak tomatoes have came out of this. Look like it's beef. It's beef salad tomatoes, be a miracle. But came out of here as compost. So I throw everything here. And I had a tarp over this for about 7 to 9 months because I was trying to turn it into black gold stuff that looks like this. And so everything has to break itself down. But things do grow out of your compost. Something is growing right here. Not sure what it is, but something is growing right there. Like I said, something is growing right there. It almost look like okra, but we'll see. I dropped a cherry seed. Strange story, but I'll share it. My brother died 2 years ago. I believe 2 years ago. And I went to Oklahoma, and my mom, or a year and a half ago, my mom, she was eating cherry seeds, and she was just spitting them out. And I said, what you gonna do with that? She was like, nothing. I was like, so you just gonna allow these seeds to go to waste? She's like, girl, what you talking about? So I called myself, had 8 of them, but 2 survived in the pot. But that is a live cherry tree. One, I accidentally put some in the soil from the cherry tree in the ground, but I'm gonna leave it. Thought about moving it, but I'm going to trim it up where the tree don't get big, being just a baby cherry tree. But that is a cherry tree in the ground, and I have one in my front yard. Let me show you my passion fruit. And again, like I said, these just died back in the wintertime. I never pulled none of these grapes that I bought 2022 out the pot because I felt like I should pull them out, or felt like it lived its life. These, let the plants do what it want to do, okay? Look at my grapes, y'all. Got to show my babies off. Look at my grapes, look at my grapes, look at my grapes, look at my grape babies. Look at my grape babies. Look at all my grape babies. Look at all my grapes. Look at all my grape babies. Look at all my grape babies. But yes, on one of my videos, I think I told you all, which was moving fast, was a papaya. It's not. It's a passion fruit. I even left a sign on there just to show people you can grow anything in a pot. That's a passion fruit. I bought my mom one and I bought me one. So that's a passion fruit. I'm actually going to put a trellis over here once it start growing. And it'll be a trellis start here and it'll work its way over on the other side at the end of that brick. And I'll just let it vine up and it'll be passion fruit. But just take a leap of faith. Let things grow. Let things take its course. Not your course. Let things take its course. This is a tangerine that I bought. Let things take its course. Same thing here. Let me please share this testimony. I put this in the ground last year. A pot. This was, I bought some apricot seeds off of eBay. And when I bought these seeds off of eBay, it was like 10 in the bag. And I put 3 in the pot, 2 for my mom and sister, but this is the one I put for me. And this was sitting on the porch. This probably been in the backyard, not even 30 days. This probably was about this high. When I brought it back here with the other plants and things started germinating and just sitting off signals so it can pollinate around other fruit plants, this thing has shot off. Just yesterday, I put a cage on it and I put a stick on it 2 days ago. But if I see a bug or a slug, but it has taken off since I put it in the backyard. But this is the real live apricot tree that I am doing from scratch, from seed. And look how big it is. And so I'm going to allow it to stay in this pot. Just want to see, because I saw other people on YouTube that it grows really massive. It's cute, but some people tell the leaves somebody can be overwhelming. But I'm just going to do my first leap of faith. Let it get big, like the grapefruit or the tangerine, get bigger. Maybe big size, and if I feel the need I want to put it in the ground, then I'll put it in the ground, but I want to enjoy it in the pot for as long. This is another one of these which I'm giving to my sister. This is a apricot, and I stuck it next to here, and I'm glad I did. It's been here almost 2 weeks, so it can pollinate, because where I'm sending it to its new home is not going to have apricot next to it, so I'm kind of letting it pollinate. And I did that with a couple other items. When I put my mom's and sister orange tree next to the oranges, I want you to see it start pollinating, growing when I brung it off the front porch and put it in here so it can be next to the orange tree and the tangerine tree. Same thing from here. This is a grapefruit from scratch. I brung this back here so this can pollinate back here with the other grapefruit that I started from seed. And so it's in a pot, you see, and I stuck it right next to this. I just needed to pollinate before I send it to its new home, where my family is. And so I just take a leap of faith. Same scenario with the peach. I put the peach tree here. It says cherry, but it's a peach because I put the word peach on it. But I started this from seed. This is a weed, and I put it next to the peach tree. I started from seed from the peach tree I ate at the farmer's market, and I set it side by side so it can pollinate. But I am taking it to its new home as well to give to my sister or my mom. They can have a peach tree. But take a leap of faith. My blueberry never took it out the pot from last year. Blackberry never took it out the pot from last year, survived the winter. And the raspberry right there never took it out the pot, survived last year. Let me show you this because it's really pretty so you know when to pick your raspberry. So when I was showing videos and you had all these red raspberry, when you see this, that's when it's ready. When you see this, that's when it's ready. When you see all of these, that means it's coming. Look at that. That means it's coming. I need the bees to germinate this and the ants. But it's not ready until it get purple. So my grandkids can come out here. I'll walk the property and see more purple. But I took one off this week. It was so good and tasty. But that's ready to be eaten. And that when it's like this, unless you have a tree that produces these color berry, but when I bought this, these were black. So I'll have to eat these when they're black. Long video, I'm sorry, but these are honeydew melon. Look at the flowers, the bees. That's why I put the marigolds here. to give me some bees so it can pollinate the flowers. You know, you need that for your watermelon, your honeydew, and your cantaloupe. You need got a flower in it, and the bees need to germinate it so it can produce. But all of these are honeydew melon. That is a cantaloupe. Those are cantaloupe because I'd already I seeded these. I did these in a seed pot on my porch, the bigger ones. And these cantaloupes that you see that look like small cantaloupes, all these little bitty ones, I seeded this last year, last summer, last fall. But I put these cantaloupe seeds out here and never dug up the soil. And you see, I'm not making this up. They're coming back. So I seeded those in those black cups on my porch, and these I personally put in the ground. Same thing with the watermelon. These seeds I put in the ground, and these I put in the seed cups. Look at it. And they're coming up. Watermelon. Watermelon. And you'll have, because these completely in the ground. This is over here, it's not the cardboard method. So I'll be pulling weeds throughout this whole growing season, which is okay. And I put some marigolds on to keep the bugs away and give me some pollinators. But I didn't have this last year. So again, watching thousands videos, learning from everybody around the world what to do, how to encourage my garden. Bought some pollinators, some plants. They just need something the bees can get their energy from. These are pollinators. Those are pollinators. Got 3 over there. Those are pollinators. I put 3 plants right there, the 2 red and the orange. Those are pollinators. Just get something for your plants to pollinate. Get you some marigolds. Prime example, when I say pollinate, look at this bee on camera. He just moved. But they was sucking the life into the plants, but they love it. Great pollinators. Same thing, let me show you real quick. With my apple tree, I'm gonna move it. But I brung it next to this. I'm gonna get it's 2. 1 to my sister, 1 to my mom. It's 2 in here, but I put it next to my apple tree, you see. So why until I take that to them, it can pollinate against another one and boost that some energy. Did the same thing with this apple tree. Put it next to another apple tree to pollinate. And I'm not gonna lie, when I put this next to this one, since the apple tree is over here, these side shoots have started taking off like no other. And this probably been here almost a week and a half, 2 weeks, and those side shoots are taking off like no other. Just don't pull nothing out the ground. Leave everything. I didn't pull this out the ground or the pot. As I start the video, do not destroy your pots. Do not destroy your ground crops. Do not destroy your seedlings. Do not destroy your product and say, oh, I'm gonna pull it out. If you don't have the space on your property, then of course you might want to use that pot if you don't have the money to go buy another pot or have the room. But do not pull your items out the pot. If you don't have to and you don't need that pot or need that space, keep it in there. These are raspberries. Look at them. They're coming. These are raspberries. They're coming. These are blueberries. Didn't show you this, but I got 2 blueberries down here. They're taking their time. Don't ask me why. These are last year. Look how small they are. Look at the new stem this year. But you see the blueberries on there. They're not purple. They're not eatable. But these are blueberries. So I have 2 blueberries. And got some new addition I didn't show you, but let me show you before I end this video. I bought this week because my eggplant is taking forever and I want some. I don't want to have to wait to eat it. So I bought this, and I bought 1. I think I paid $6 for it. And I put some amaranth next to it to deter pests, because I came over here after buying a brand new plant and it had holes in it, so deter plant. And then I have another eggplant and I put some amaranth next to it because it was a brand new plant and the bugs start eating on it. And this is this type of eggplant. But I want to thank everybody that took time out of their day to watch these videos that I have showed. And I'm encouraging people, do not pull your product out the ground. I'm encouraging people, when you see yellow leaves, please take them off. Give it to your animals, give it to your compost station, feed it to your rabbits, feed it to your squirrels, feed it to your chickens. Take a leap of faith, pull it off, and be careful when you pull your cabbage and pull your brassicas and your greens. Do not kill your plant. Take it from the bottom. Even when you eat it for harvest, take it from the bottom. Leave the stem on. Never pull from the top. You'll deter that plant from growing, and you will stunt the growth, and it won't grow back. But I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day and watching this long drawn out video. But I thought it was important to show people and tell people, do not pull your harvest out your pots. This is a weed in my strawberries. Do not. Look at the strawberries. Look at the strawberries. Just allow it to grow. Just allow it to do its thing. Do not take a leap of faith. This was gonna be full of strawberries. These are weeds. Just take a leap of faith. Potatoes from last year got cold from the frost. Came back though, I promise. Came back with vengeance. Just pull off the yellow leaves. Give this to your chickens or your rabbits, or put it in your compost station. Take a leap of faith. I'm gonna see this year what will happen. But last year I had because this whole section when I first started my garden was cantaloupe and watermelon. This whole section, I personally didn't realize how wild it grew, and it shot off and it came all the way out there. It was so pretty. So I'll look forward to see if the watermelons come again and the cantaloupes over here start shooting off. But until then, I didn't want this to be naked over here, and I'm gonna decor it and fix it up and work on it. But I put a blueberry here and a blueberry here, almost 2 weeks, or a week and a half, and I put a banana, or a week, and I put a banana there. So I'll have a big old pretty banana. These been in the ground roughly almost 2 weeks, or a week and a half, and it's gonna grow like this. You see how big the raspberries and the blackberries are on the side of my yard? Well, same scenario. These gonna grow just like that. I want to try to create a fruit fence. So I look forward to having unlimited berries for my children, myself. We can have it for nutrition benefits, medicinal benefits, and we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. And just take time out of your day. Put a seed in the ground and watch it grow. Take a leap of faith. Don't say what you can't do or should do. And just because it's good for somebody don't mean it's good for you. Oh my God, people like, I can't believe you put a banana tree in the pot. I have it in the ground in the front yard, 5 of them or 7. And I actually bought this one this year because if you watch my videos last year, I had 2 in the pot. And the 2 I had in the pot that I put in the ground for whatever reason, so far have yet came back that I put in the ground. They were real big. So I'm kind of shocked that they haven't popped back up or, poked out of the ground like that. But we'll see about those 2. The other ones that was smaller than them, 3 of them start sticking up out the ground, but I'm going to leave this bad boy in the backyard. And this would be, if it turned home, it would not come out this pot. And I don't know if my strawberries are ready or together. I was going to show you a strawberry plant that I planted, but look at that. I put a couple strawberries and started around my porch. Once you're familiar with the leaves, you will know exactly what they are. And that way you'll be familiar from weeds. Like these are just weeds. They're cute. Some of them that turn white, I've been pulling them out. But these are official strawberries. These are potatoes that I had last year. Again, I'm familiar with the leaves. Potatoes don't like a lot of water, so they're dying back. And I'm pulling the leaves off. And so some potatoes in the ground right here. And some different items. I got some carrot seeds in the ground over there. And I had lettuce over here at one time. But just take a leap of faith. My grandkids got toys on the ground. You can see I'm a full-fledged nana. But take a leap of faith. Put a seed in the ground or in the pot. Watch it grow. Watch it harvest. Never say never. Don't know what you can do until you try. Again, collard greens. Last year, these collard greens, I'm no joke, been in this pot since 2020, 2021, I think 2020. Look at the old stem. Look at the fresh stalk. New collard green. Collard greens in a pot. Collard greens in the pot. Not in the ground like I just showed you in the pot. I did not. Just cut the stem back. And they grew. Look at that. Fresh collard greens. Collard greens. I just peeled it on the side. And then one of these collard greens, I think this one, was starting to seed. When I say seed, it started to bubble at the top. And I remember watching someone's video, and I'm going to actually let this seed so I can have some root seeds, because these seeds came out of the country and they came from somewhere. And I still got root growing here. But the collard greens had seeded like this at the top flower, and I grabbed it and I